go. Now, sometimes I fake amp at the beginning of this at the show because you say bring the excitement. But I was actually pretty excited. We're doing it's in the morning time for me. For those who don't know, sometimes we record in the afternoon. I got a little lull, but I woke up, got jacked this morning. I don't know when you get a workout in the morning, Mike Vick, but I still got muscles. I don't know if you have muscles under that.
I didn't get my workout this morning, but the fruit bowl I ate was amazing. So I'm off to a good start.
I'm jacked to talk today. Week 11 Gaming Society football show. Now, we saved this because normally we talk about this off air. But is that a new logo? Have you been workshopping logos on the Gaming Society? Because I feel like I've seen like 12 MV7s.
I'm a walking brand, a man of many brands. This actually is my brand. I'm glad you said that and brung it up. I'm gonna get some stuff sent your way. Okay. So one day we can come looking apart.
7 3/4, if that's a fitted hat. Please.
7 3/4, okay.
So I got a big dome. Actually 7 3/8. Give me a 7 3/8. A 7 3/8. So that's
7 3/8. That's not too bad.
That's not that big.
If you'd have said 3/4, I might have been like,
7 3/8. Sorry.
You're a little dude.
Well, can you? So you got like a V and a 7 in there.
Yeah, it's V7. It's the brand. It's if you look at it, it's about 6 7s in that one logo. So they just everywhere. It's all 7s everywhere.
Yeah, because you got a negative space one, you got a little one, you got a black one, you got a white one. Very inclusive 7.
Yeah. That's what I noticed when I first was introduced to it by the design. I was like, bro, I see like 8 7s in it or however many. I just thought it was cool. So yeah, one of the many brands that I'm trying to continue to push.
Did you wear 7 your whole career? Did you ever have to switch numbers?
I switched numbers my junior year. A story for another day. Long story, very intriguing. You got to ask me about it one day so I can tell you how I ended up wearing the number 7. It's the most amazing story ever. Like my career just went to a completely different level once I went from number 1 to number 7. It was like it was divine.
Let's hear it. The people have spoken. We want to hear it. Go for it. Give us the Cliff Notes.
My junior year, I was wearing number 1. All right, so freshman, sophomore year, wearing number 11 in high school. My high school closed down, went to a new school. They didn't have number 11, so I got number 1. My crosstown rival wore number 1. He got all the press clippings, parade All-American this, Sun Kiss All-American that.
Who was that?
Ronald Curry. A lot of people would know. Ronald Curry, one greatest high school player ever. Yep. So I'm wearing number 1 at this new school, and practice is going like not good at all. I'm not making good decisions. Felt like I lost my feel for the game and the love and passion for the game. One day, me and my receiver was stretching. He was wearing number 7. And I just felt out of it, man. No energy. I'm the quarterback, and you can't be that way. I looked at him and I said, you want to swap jerseys? We swapped jerseys. I gave him 1. He gave me 7. All of a sudden, I had confidence. All of a sudden, I was shaking dudes. I was my old self. I was who I envisioned myself being as a kid, as a player. And, man, I just took off. My career was different, recruited heavily, Tech, 7, boom, in the pros. Yeah, it was like that. Yeah, it happened. It all happened. That day was amazing. I'll never forget it.
I was also a good high school football player. But I wasn't as committed. I went 1, and I was also 1 in high school. You put the target on your back. You wear number 1. You tell everyone you're the best player. I got to college. I didn't want to wear 1. I wore number 4. So I wore 4 in college.
That's
4
sweet.
years. I liked 4. Receivers can't go single digits in the pros, so I got to figure out double digit. 14 was available. So 1 from high school, 4 from college. I put that on. Problem is, I look like an Air Force quarterback. My rookie year, I looked terrible. Speaking of confidence,
like a wing
I had 0.
quarterback.
I looked horrible. It was, back in the day, it was still a little baggy. They didn't have the perfect tight jersey until they knew you were going to play every snap, so I looked terrible. And then my second year, I went to 89. That's when I started looking good. That's a good number for a shorter receiver. It's a little more stocky.
Steve Smithish.
Yep.
Type. Exactly I can see that in.
So then I was 89. Yep. Yeah. So I still rock the DA89 on my Gmails and stuff like that. 89. So it's funny if you the numbers are a sensitive thing. So I'm glad we went through that story with the 7. I like that. But
that's what's up, Dave.
Gaming Society Football Show Week 11, not Week 7 here. You know what, Mike? We always start with the all-ins, the recap. I finally won. And you finally lost. You've been picking Baltimore too many times now. Baltimore took an L for you.
You know what? I'm gonna get off that Baltimore train for a minute and let Baltimore do them. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna let them beat them for a minute.
So not that we're going to go into what a survivor pool is, but a survivor pool is you pick the winners. So that's kind of what our all-in bet is. We're like picking a winner.
Right.
I was reading an article about Baltimore versus Miami that like the majority of people got that wrong. They thought that was a shoo-in. So they were with Baltimore, Miami. Everyone lost that game. On the other hand, got a W. Buffalo -13, got a win. Like I was projecting, came back, finally had a big game again. Got the W in my all-in week. That puts me at 3-3. Mike Vick at 4-2. We got our all-in bets at the end of the show, like we always do. But I'm coming off a dub, so you might want to listen to what I have this week. But
I'm gonna let you go first.
Yeah, and I will take it.
And the thing with last week, with everybody getting it wrong, picking the Ravens to beat the Dolphins, like myself. We kind of look at these games and try to read between the lines, right? Yep. We look at the games and we look at the teams from the external, but internally what they're going through and what needs to happen is two different attitudes they come into the game with. Yep. And a team like Miami came in really hungry, and I know Baltimore came in a little complacent, knowing that they had the weekend off and thinking that this was going to be a game that they was just going to win. But you got to go earn it.
So week 10 impressions. I mean, did Miami impress you? Did Baltimore not impress you? Was that something that was telling about Baltimore? Who else kind of impressed you week 10?
I say the Patriots. The defense continues to impress. Mac Jones continues to get better and just play within the offense and not making mistakes. He's not the same player he was the first 6 games of the season. He's different. And the maturity level is so evident that I'm enjoying watching this all take place and unfold right before our very eyes.
He's doing it with receive. Like, he doesn't have any Pro Bowl receivers either. A lot of times with those young quarterbacks, they rely on I mean, they're good. Don't get me wrong, they're good, but they're not. That's not like Tom Brady when Randy just tosses up to Randy Moss, or he doesn't have a big time Pro Bowler that he can just close his eyes and throw the ball up to every now and then, or even anyone behind him that he can hand the ball off to in a 2nd and 7 and get him a first down here and there. That's what I think is most impressive about Mac Jones. I'd say the team that impressed me was the Washington football team. And I feel for these guys a little bit more than anything. I played in that city for basically a season. And I know those fans are hungry for a winner. I know those fans are loyal. They get a lot of bad press. And that stinks when you're playing on that team because you don't control that. Right? You don't control what's going on with management. You don't control what are supposed to be the adults
internal
in the front office. You just deal with what you can deal with on the field, and your coach tells you that week after week, and you're trying to do that. And you know what? I thought they rallied, played a really good game against Tampa Bay, actually played a sound football game. People are blaming Tom Brady for a bad game. I was, just like you mentioned with Baltimore and Miami, that you got to come with it every week. Washington wanted to play. And I think that really showed, and I was proud of them. I don't know if they can sustain this, but I was proud of them for that week.
Yeah, I think we got to be careful in terms of just looking at some of these teams and saying, okay, Tom Brady didn't play well, so that's the reason they lost. No, you got to look at the full spectrum. And then give some credit to the football team. Taylor Heineke played amazing. They was amazing on 3rd down. I watched the game, and at the end, it was like a 17-play drive that capped everything off. Both teams had their chances. Brady had the Bucs in the game. Heineke just finished it. The defense for the Bucs didn't finish. Even though the football team, they lost their best pass rusher, and they still was able to pull it out. So it says a lot about these teams, man. Like you say, like I said, you got to bring it every week, man. That's what makes the NFL so intriguing.
I mean, Tom Brady said there aren't upsets really in the NFL, right? Like, those guys are paid a lot of money. There's the salary cap is the same for every team. They have guys that are Hall of Famers and Pro Bowlers and the best high school players that were number one, whatever it is. They have a bunch of studs on their team. People forget about that just because they weren't highly picked on fantasy for some reason, but it doesn't mean they're not a team full of all-stars. One guy who showed up back in the league who was an MVP and an all-star and a Pro Bowler, Cam Newton.
Cam showed
plays
up.
Down in the red zone, shows up, takes his helmet off, tells everyone he's back. Is he back? Do you start if you're Matt Rule over there? Do you start Cam Newton, what are you doing with this situation?
That's a new belt. That's a belt in the background you got.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, that's pretty cool. I see that whole background coming together, man.
Yeah, it's
you got to give
it's
you
a
some credit.
motif.
Yeah. Okay. You know what, Cam?
It's a mini belt there.
It's a little small. You think it'd go around Cam Newton's waist?
No, he would wear it around his neck though, probably as like a fashion statement. Like
I'm gonna have you get at the Cam if he go knock off the football team this week. If Cam can put it all together, Dave. If he can, now this is what I don't think could happen, and if it does, great for Cam, having a full grasp of the offense, and it's so tough to learn an offense. It just takes time so that you can go out and play comfortable and not second guess yourself.
Hold on. Let's make sure we introduce this correctly, because this actually let's extend this, because this is our newsletter's intriguing matchup of the week: Washington at Carolina, and so we're talking about Cam. Carolina is favored 3.5 points, just like you mentioned. No Chase Young. How does Ron Rivera really scheme against Cam Newton? You're right. This is a new system for Cam. This is not walking him back to his old stuff.
Yeah.
So continue on there, but I wanted to kind of set the stage here. This is our intriguing matchup, but keep going on Cam Newton.
Absolutely. So in terms of Matt Rule's offense, I think it's a very sophisticated offense, and I think Cam's a smart guy. But even the smartest guys, it takes time, to learn the system. I always felt like for me to be fully comfortable, it took about 2 months. So I can go out and even still, you still got to make mistakes in order to learn how to do it, when to do it, how to be on time. It's a real thing. That's one of my concerns. 2 is how Ron Rivera is going to play Cam. But I know this is a big moment for Cam, playing against your former coach, and so much emotion going into this one that I don't want it to deter, what Cam brings to the table. And I don't want expectations to be so high for Cam right now, because he just got to learn this system where he can be comfortable. And I want him to have that opportunity before people start to judge him too early. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I don't think other players in the huddle, and I know fans don't give the quarterbacks enough credit, in terms of when you're in a new system, he's got to hear the play and confidently relay the play to the players in the huddle.
Right.
Because if you stutter or kind of fumble the words of the play, immediately every other player in that huddle is like, oh, shit, we don't, like, he doesn't know what's going on. So you got to, explain to me, because I don't know this, how getting used to the verbiage and how you spit it out. Do you chunk it in terms of like protection, play, audible, or like how did you kind of communicate?
So just to compartmentalize it, I tried to go formation, motion, protection, play. You see what I'm saying? So the formation and then the motion with it, so everybody can understand the motion, and then how we picking it up: 22, 23, 2-jet, 3-jet, whatever you call it, rip, liz, etc. And then the play, whether it's 595 or if it's a number system, if it's Falcon, if it's just one play means everything. So I tried to give it to him, just in pieces, so it comes out clean, and it can't be fragmented, or they lose confidence in you. You know how it goes. Oh man, my guy don't really know what he's doing. Now everybody break the huddle unsure.
Oh yeah.
And so I think that's the most important part. And like I said, I think Cam's a smart guy, but too much can't be thrown at him too early. Now, I like the way they used him last week, and the way he was able to get introduced into the offense. It was easy stuff. There was a quarterback sweep, and then there was a sprint right option, pretty much. Yeah. So that's the way to get him involved. But moving forward, everything will start to stack up. You can layer it 1 week at a time for Cam.
Yeah, I always found the play call really interesting, because you have a play call, you have a potential audible, and then you break the huddle, and you oftentimes see a quarterback kind of like telling another guy, hey, because it's like not a real alert, but kind of like, hey, watch Sam Mike here, or it's like, hey, you're hot if 22's coming.
Right.
hey, break this off early or wrap it around them. You're giving like some pointers here and there. And that, I think what you're mentioning only comes with that confidence, that 2 months to know like, okay, here's a play. Here's what I have to do.
Yep.
Now I can think about everybody else, what they have to do, and kind of start giving orders. And speaking of what they have to do, Ron Rivera is scheming against Cam Newton.
Correct.
Did you? So
I knew you was gonna get to this.
How many coaches were scheming against? How many times did you play against a
former
coach? Yes.
Jeez, that's a good question. I don't think I faced Andy. When Andy went to Kansas City. I was in Philadelphia, Chip Kelly, and they came to Philadelphia on a Thursday night, and they beat us. And you know what happened early in that game? We had a stick concept called, trip stick.
Yep.
Whether you call it a flanker,
three out routes
or
whatever, 2 outs in a wheel or whatever. Yeah.
Go. And I tried to throw that stick to the tight end, and what's his name? Johnson, DJ Johnson. Was it DJ Johnson, the middle linebacker, picked me off to the house. Tipped up by Eric Berry, and I just felt like right then and there, okay, I got to be extra cautious. One, I second guessed myself on that play because my backside X in the trips had press coverage one-on-one, and I should have took that matchup.
Go to him.
Like, go to him. Tried to hit the stick, being conservative and trying to methodically move the ball down the field or matriculate the ball down the field, however you want to say it. And boom, Eric Berry tips it, get it underneath it, and DJ Johnson, if I'm saying it correctly, picks it, goes to the house, and I'm like, man, what? So I got to be cautious. He knows me and can't be timid, but he knew my tendencies.
So you can't. So if I'm summarizing, it's his goal is to get you a little bit on your heels and to make him second guess. That would be the only thing Ron Rivera can really do. And then what Cam can't try to do is outthink the think and then outthink and double think.
Right,
like, that's what it's like. Right? Just take what they give you.
Right.
I always like to say it's like blackjack in a lot of ways. When the dealer shows a 6 underneath, you try to get as much money on the table as possible.
Yep.
When you got a one-on-one backside with any receiver, give him a chance.
Correct.
Give him a chance, right? Get it. You got all the money right there. You got whatever route you have. It's a good route, one-on-one, and so take it, right? It doesn't even really matter.
In life, everything is a scheme.
Yep.
Whether it's football, financial planning, life, you got to scheme it. Everybody's trying to scheme to make more money or.
In England they call a scheme. It's more like a plan. It's not like it doesn't have like a negative connotation. I remember when I was in business school, the guy said, "Oh, we got a scheme here," and I was like, "That's."
No, scheme means it sounds bad, but scheme is good. That's life planning. Whether it's in football, like I say, whatever it is, you gotta have a scheme.
Yep. The intriguing matchup: Washington at the Carolina Panthers. Carolina -3.5. I'm going to take Carolina here. Point total 43. I'm thinking the under. I just don't think either of these teams are going to have a lot of confidence to score. I do like. Ron Rivera scheming up Cam Newton in the red zone in particular, not letting him have some of those plays. Although Cam Newton is just too damn big for some people. It doesn't matter what the scheme is. It'll be interesting to see. But the QB rapid fire prop bet is what we're going to go with. I'm really interested in getting your input on this, Mike, because we got the Cowboys at the Chiefs. Chiefs are favored by 2.5 points. So people are back on the Chiefs after 2 weeks of hate. You got Mahomes and Prescott. To the big tickets. Everyone wants to see these guys. So we got a little QB rapid fire prop bet. So I'm just asking you a question. You just tell me Prescott or Mahomes. You ready?
Okay.
Who will have more total TDs?
Prescott.
Ooh. Who will pass for more yards?
Dak.
Who will rush for more yards?
Patrick.
Who will throw the ball more passing attempts?
Patrick.
Who will complete the longest pass?
Patrick.
Okay. We got to write these down. Those are good. That's a good mix.
Yeah,
I would have gone more TDs. See, I think Mahomes, they're back to passing. I think that's an interesting one. I kind of like all the rest of your answers, though.
I think Dak's more settled right now in the pocket. Dak's seeing it better than Patrick. Patrick's coming around, And he hasn't lost his feel for the game. He's just getting his confidence level back up, which is a real thing. Mojo is a real thing at the quarterback position.
I was a little worried when they sat Dak that one game when he was almost ready, but I think that actually was good for his mojo, was good for the team. I'm guessing the coaching staff and the quarterback coach and Dak himself kind of like talked themselves through it, and he realized like, hey, one game here is not what's important for us. It's the whatever the last 8 games of the season. So I think they did a little Kawhi Leonard kind of rest for the playoffs type move.
It was a scheme, Dave. They got together and schemed it out.
You are ready to say that. The betting academy. The betting academy after the QB rapid fire prop bet. Today's betting academy. We're going to talk about betting primetime football, and I think this is important for everyone to know is that like. It's the same way back in the day when I told you the most over bet or most bet team in I think it's all of sports is the Cowboys.
Yep.
Right? That like everyone knows the Cowboys. That's who they're betting on. If you don't know anything about football or you're a foreigner or whatever, and they were always on TV, so you're accustomed to them, you're betting on the Cowboys. And you just take them. Yeah. So betting primetime football in a lot of ways is the same thing, especially when it's these Sunday night and Monday night games. First reason why is because you bet all day and you lose and you want to make it up with a bet, or you bet all day and you win and you want to double down and bet at night as well. So you got time to think, which is the problem. So you have to factor that in. But did you know the underdog has won 6 straight games on Monday Night Football and 21-9 in all of the primetime games this season? So
wow.
It's interesting in that the underdogs are making a big primetime showing here. But which underdog do you think has the best chance of upsetting in primetime this week? So we got Thursday Night Football, which is the Patriots at the Falcons.
Okay.
We got Sunday Night Football, Steelers at the Chargers, and we got Monday Night Football, Giants at the Bucks. I don't think I have to tell you who are the underdogs in these games. Giants, Steelers, Falcons. Are the underdogs, but which one of those underdogs do you like?
Now, who's the underdog in the Steelers and Chargers game?
The Chargers are favored by 4.5. No, the Chargers are favored by 4.5.
I like the Steelers.
You like the Steelers?
So they'll be considered the underdog, correct?
Yes. Sunday Night Football here in Los Angeles.
I like the Steelers.
Make sure to stay off the freeway.
No doubt. Stay off the freeway, kids. Stay off the freeway, north and south.
Yeah. All right. Sunday Night Football, Steelers, Chargers. You think the Patriots are going to roll on Thursday?
I think the Patriots roll on Thursday.
And Giants at Bucks. You think the Bucks are pissed after losing 2 straight? Tom Brady's in that locker room, just putting fire in everyone's shoulder pads.
Yes, they're going back to watch their film, and they schematically going to come back and just annihilate the Giants. Even though I like that matchup, because the Giants played them tough last year.
Yeah. And
they barely escaped. It was right when the Bucks started their run. They had to beat the Giants, I think, in New York. But nevertheless, I like this matchup, Pittsburgh versus the Rams. Not the Rams, I'm sorry. Versus the Chargers.
Yeah.
And we see what happens with that.
All right. I like that. I don't know if I can get behind that.
Why not? But you like the Chargers at home? They just got beat at home last week.
I like the Chargers at home on Sunday Night Football. Problem is, though, here's what people know, but they don't really know. The Chargers don't have any home games. They play in Los Angeles, but they haven't really solidified this fan base, and they don't have the younger fan base can't afford tickets yet.
Right.
So like that stadium will be 55% Pittsburgh and louder than the Charger fans, and like that's what it feels like an away game.
And Mike Tomlin's defensive scheme. That's instantly what I thought about. That defensive scheme versus Justin Herbert. He struggled a little bit versus a similar scheme when he faced Baltimore. Even though it was on the road, cross country, I get all that. But can he handle the blitzes? Can he handle the scheme?
That's what I love about the Steelers is, they've had Tomlin for a long time now, but they've always just had that culture of a really tough defense that come at you and stuff like that. That's something that has always been that's been part of their identity.
They're gonna hit you.
I always appreciate that, which is going to be influential in my all-in bet. But before we get to the all-in bets, we got fantasy football. Now, I'm having a rough go. Not gonna lie. It was my wife's birthday this weekend, so I got a little distracted again, and I wasn't paying attention to Alvin Kamara, so I didn't put in a new running back, and I lost by like 12 points. I don't know if a backup running back would have done anything for me there, but I lost to Andre Reed. I couldn't believe. And you lost to Tate by 3.5 points.
I know, man. I was, I was so disappointed. I kept checking it.
Did it come down to the Monday night game? What game did it come down to?
Man, it really just came down to Russell Wilson and his performance. I mean, if Russell would have just gave me something. Russ is my guy. Shout out to Russ, man. Big play 3 up in Seattle. Bro, but he gave me absolutely nothing. I know he came back and rushed the whole finger thing, and I'm not saying rushing. I'm not gonna put words in, in the air that don't make no sense, or might not have been true or relevant. But God, Lee, I know Russ could have gave me a look. Even if in the rush, I lost.
Now,
no excuses.
Now, fantasy is one thing, and I was gonna bring this up. I didn't know where in the show it was gonna show up. But I'll recap this. We can say it again. Best manager was Paul Pierce, and worst team was Marissa Coleman. So I think Marissa's slowly finding her way out of the playoffs. Paul Pierce seems to be getting best manager, even though he can't get into first place. That's okay. But fantasy and video games are kind of hand in hand. And I was on the internet box, and whether they listened to me or whatever, I don't know, a Mike Vick story popped up. That you didn't really prefer to play with your own character in Madden. When was this said and why? Like what?
No, that's the truth. I mean, if you ask any of the guys that I grew up with or was coming up with around that time, I just never liked playing with myself because instantly I want to just drop back and run. But I know that you can't just drop back and run in a real football game. And Madden is, to all the people who play Madden in the world, that's the closest you're going to get to the NFL.
Yeah.
So if you're sitting in your house and you're running the offense and you scoring a lot of points, it's probably the closest you're going to get to the NFL.
Now,
when I got me, I tried to run it and I ran into linemen, and that's what happens as a quarterback. But I wanted the pocket passes with the wide tunnel vision and all that. I wanted Drew and Aaron and all that.
I'm pretty sure you probably need to write $1 million in checks for broken TVs, controllers. There's probably a couple of relationships that you broke up. There's probably a couple people in jail because of a Madden fight because all they did was run shotgun in 4 verticals and then take off with Mike Vick
nobody ever told me to do that.
Hail Mary touchdown and because they had the user catch was back when that showed up. So I don't know if you want to do we'll give you some time. You want to write a sorry letter, or maybe it's even more interesting is Clint Oldenburg. We're gonna if I don't know if his name will be out here, but he's my teammate on at Colorado State. He actually is the new Madden score grader. Or not new. He's been doing it for a while. He scores all the players for Madden. I think you were on the cover when?
2004.
Yeah, so we were still in college. So he wasn't the scorer then, but he is now. So you can't blame him for that. But he gets a lot of hate. A lot of Twitter hate for scores.
I was about to say he's a marked man. There's a lot of guys out there who's not really fond of him because everybody feel like they get slighted every year on something, whether it's attributes or speed or just something. I know I actually stay mad.
There was the Madden curse. I always thought a funny documentary would be to interview the worst player on the game.
almost like Mr. Irrelevant in the draft.
Just put him on the back cover.
You know what? Yeah. You know what? We should make that a thing, man. I might talk to my people over at Madden. We got a great relationship for all the right reasons.
Well, week 11, Mike Vick, I'm playing you. Fantasy football, me versus
Let's
you.
Get it.
I already have a bottle of tequila from Marissa. The white bottle with the blue.
Fancy.
I would like we need to put a wager on this, and I want to put a round of golf on this.
Okay.
And if you don't show up for a round of golf, you owe me 2 rounds of golf.
Okay.
So you have until February 1st, 2022 to go golfing with me. Winner.
Let me write this down.
February 1st, 2022. So you have to squeeze me in before the Super Bowl, which is in Los Angeles, and I know you're probably going to be doing something. So I'll give you the time then. And so we got to squeeze in around then. And if you don't, you owe me 2 rounds of golf. I'm going to say that the loser owes 2 rounds of golf. That's what we're going to do.
Okay.
So
Okay.
a round of golf, which
all
I don't
right.
know. LA here is probably like $150. So
bet.
We're all right.
Bet. And I honor my bets. I honor my bets.
Now, we always end the show with the all-in. Any kind you feel most confident about. I told you I was going to start. My all-in bet of the week after coming after a victory. I went to Houston this week. I heard all the hate on the radio. I heard all the frustration on the radio. I heard all the. I talked to some guys that had played there before. Some old teammates. Went out to dinner with some old teammates. That team not only doesn't have an identity, it doesn't really have a lot of leadership going on right now. There's a lot of questions. I was once told that indecision is a decision, and that is a lot there. That is going on a lot there. So yes. I think the Texans are struggling, and the Titans are hot. I'm going to take the Titans over the Texans. The Texans coming off a bye week, but they're going to Tennessee. The Titans have proven that it doesn't, like, Derrick Henry is a beast, obviously, and he helped them win, but he was not the only piece of that puzzle. They are a tough team, and I'm all in on the Tennessee Titans this week.
I can see that. It is a divisional game, so anything can happen. You know how they can get a little tough and a little dicey, but honestly, I think that's a good bet. I think you're safe with that. My all in, I'm going the Vikings. Scratch that. Green Bay over the Vikings.
Scratch that.
Yeah. Scratch that. Yeah. Rewind. Green Bay over the Vikings. I think it was a good week last week for Green Bay. Obviously against Seattle, Russell Wilson was a little handicapped, but they got it done somehow, some way. And I was really impressed with the defense and the way they played. It wasn't about the offense. Aaron Jones went out. Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers hooked up a couple of times, but it wasn't a great offensive performance, I think, on the defensive side of the ball. Amos and those guys, even though they lost some guys to injury, got after the quarterback, and I see them getting after Kirk Cousins, confusing them and making some plays on the defensive side of the ball. So I'm going all in with the Green Bay Packers over the Minnesota Vikings.
I'm glad you said that, because what we're going to end the show today is the Green Bay Packers. I don't know if you saw this. They're selling some stock in their team. You don't get to vote on anything. You don't get any perks. You're just basically giving them money, which is interesting. So you're not really buying a team. We're kind of buying into a team in a little way.
Buying into the team,
If you could buy a team, which team would you buy?
If I can buy a team, I'm buying the Washington football team. And first, a couple things got to happen.
Okay.
I'm going to move them a little further south, and I'm going to bring them to Richmond, Virginia. I think that's a great hub for football. It's like a football mecca, and we'll be able to pack that stadium. Get them out of D.C. I'm changing the colors, changing the uniform completely, and we might be like, we're going to mock the Raiders. Like, the Raiders going to hate us because we're going to look just like the Raiders. Instead of black and gray, I might go with the silver and gray, some type of contrast. And then the facility going to be all glass. It's going to be all glass. My investors, they got deep pockets. Like, we doing something that's never been seen before. Like, we coming with it, Dave. So, we're going to bring the football team a little further south.
Can you still call them the Washington football team, or are they now the Virginia Breakers or something?
No, I like the football team because it sounds like we're just a football team, and we're a united team, and we just come to play football. We got a team full of guys who just know exactly what to do.
For those that don't know, Washington doesn't actually play in D.C. They play in Maryland, so that's not a big ask to go to Richmond.
Yeah, and then I might keep Taylor Heineke as my quarterback, or I'm gonna go find me a nice.
You don't get to make those decisions as the owner. You don't get. You have to separate yourself from that.
No, this is my team, Dave. This is my team.
You're the Al Davis. You're the Al Davis.
And I'm gonna send him to, the dual threat system league. Like, I need a quarterback that's a dual threat. look like me. I don't care, he ain't got to look like me, but just be able to move the chains, man.
Who's coaching?
Who's coaching? I think might try to get Sean McVay, at some point. Sean's going to be around for a while. I like Sirianni. He got a young staff down there in Philadelphia, so I think they're going to grow. If Belichick's still around, the pocket's deep enough, I'm going Bill first. We need defense. But look, I just have Bill somewhere around the program, around the team, so that he can help my young coaches.
Propped up at 88 years old. You're going to get him out there coaching defense.
And I'm going to pay him for it. I'm going to pay him for his presence because I don't see Bill changing the thing, and I like to be stern.
How far is Ashburn, Virginia from Richmond, Virginia?
Ashburn, probably like an hour.
Because that's where the facility is.
Yeah, it's not too far. It's like right up the road.
It's not like that's a beautiful facility anyway, especially if you're building this
that's what I'm saying.
In Richmond. We might need to go down there.
Yeah, I peeped it. It ain't the most extravagant. So, the changes I'm going to make, it's going to be.
How about this? So when I was there, this is 2013 when I'm there. They don't have an indoor facility. It's snowing. The practice field flooded. It's too hard to practice. Everyone's just falling over. Yeah. We go to a high school basketball gym. An NFL team went to a high school basketball gym to practice for a game. It was the most absurd thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Everyone had to literally get in their cars with their pads like we were third graders and carpool. Yep. I was like, where are the cut up oranges, coach? Where's the complete sense?
Like yo, what we got going on? What are we doing here?
What are we doing here? I don't. I'm an LA kid. But here's what's funny. I'd buy the Chargers and send them back down to San Diego. I'm gonna leave it right at that. The fact that they don't have a team and the fact that Chargers are lost down here in San Diego is a joke. I know they just bought a bunch of stuff in El Segundo. Yeah. I think they could be like San Diego's a perfect city for a football team.
Absolutely.
I do that. So that. I don't really care about coach. I'm a hands-free. I'm a hands-free owner. Coach, I'll leave that to the general manager because I want the ability to fire them all. I don't care who's starting. I just want the San Diego Chargers back where they belong, which is in San Diego.
I like that.
But I like the Washington football team in Richmond, Virginia, with Sean McVay, Michael Vick looking through the glass at who's quarterbacking.
Yeah, Sean checking in.
You got your Surface pad. You're alerting everyone, talking on the headsets like you're an FBI agent.
I mean, kind of mimicking Jerry Jones, and doing media. I'm speaking out on my squad and my guys.
Well, you know what, Mike? Maybe where we start is we go get a European football team, like Ted Lasso.
Whatever I got to do.
Like Ted Lasso, let's go get a European team, do whatever we want. That might be where we start. So
whatever steps I got to take.
It is the football show in Europe. This would be a soccer show. So gaming Society football show week 11. Mike Vick with the new logo on the hat. I'm still rocking LA, even though it's the Army supporting the troops here, I guess, this week. Mike, you got to add some stuff to your background if you want to compete with my
Dave. There, so. I like it when a good plan come together, man. You scheming it out.
Get your game right. Fantasy, set your roster. Don't flake out on me. I want all Mike Vick can handle.
Let's get it.
You heard it here first. Gaming Society Week 11 show. You guys have a good one. Make sure to sign up and subscribe at thegamingsociety.com and hit that follow button at The Gaming Society on all social platforms.